This is not one of the most comfortable speeches that I have given so far. I already covered the black sun in one of my previous lectures, so I won't be following that part again. Now, retracing my piercing through the veils visit to Tartarus in 2007, through 7 years I lived through hell. I've seen the shadows, the beasts, the demons everywhere. I've seen them possessing people, turning people against me, destroying me, attacking me physically, attacking me psychically, magically, psionically, whatever it took to exterminate me from life. This is just an example. Now, in France there was something called the Order of the Solar Temple, and they were known for being a sect. However, from certain developments of the ideography and worship of the sun, the Sol Invictus, you may also retrace the falling of this sect into an atrocity, into orders of murders, of homicide, of killings, of various perversion and sadism. Now, they didn't start like that, but they ended up like that. Now, on my own skin, by being loyal to the solar forces and balancing in between the black sun and the Sol Invictus, I've witnessed many changes in my mind. Since I can track the shadows, the demons, the negroids that are flying through the tectonic realms of Earth, I also managed to track down all the effects that may be brought on human minds, whether it comes to incitement into serial killings, rapes, homicide, murders, bestial killings, perversions, necrophagy, necrocannibalism, necrophilia, all forms of perversions that a human reduced to a beast is capable of. Now, a simple man will exhibit vulgar behaviors and vulgar attacks, aggressions, and so on. A simple man is very easy to control because his will is not strong, because he is not well shaped. He didn't realize his character, gnotis out, and he is falling into Tartarism from the Dionysiac mysteries very quickly. Tartarism meaning the beastly nature that is contained in every mortal even nowadays, taken from the primordial times. 200,000 years ago, every Homo sapiens sapiens was a cannibal, participating in some weird orgies and participation mystique. Now, a civilized man may develop a very sophisticated method of evil if he is undergoing such vilification processes. And sometimes there are long-term cueings of such devastating effects that may be subtle, and from a good and decent man may turn him into a vicious, evil person. If the person is a simpleton and is aggressive or has some tendencies towards murder or rape, he is easily overtaken, and if the other side wants to take that gentleman out, he is either committing murder or rape and he ends in prison. He is crossed out. Now, you may be in the wrong time and the wrong space. I still remember when I was in Scotland, Edinburgh, reading a story about a Canadian, half Chinese, half Canadian citizen that arrived. Was it Edinburgh or Glasgow? And all of a sudden he started seeing, as he called it, zombies. Now, what he's seen is the demons and the dead manifesting through living people. he reported that the faces were all bloody, grotesque, macabresque, they looked evil. And he really seen them. I have second sight, I confirm, I've seen such things myself. So he attacked an innocent person because some demon or some demonoid or some dead, malevolent, wrathful entity made itself seen through that innocent mortal. He wasn't even possessed. But that China-Canadian man decided that he is threatening him, fight or flee instinct, and he murdered, he stabbed him to death. Now he is serving a lifelong sentence in psychiatric institution. And I'm committing to this lecture mainly because such things happen all the time. Just because I was resilient and survived doesn't mean that others may. So with heavy heart, apart from the fact that a psychopath, for example, may be malformed, the brain malformation and so on, it doesn't excuse anyone from humaneness. In other words, to know thyself is to know your extremes in order to balance them better in the middle, to make the substance of your character know what is right, what is wrong, what is the consequence of your actions. And for those of you on the occult journey that want to be successful, may the sun guard you, but beware, because too much light invites darkness. And if you don't know how to handle darkness, real, objective, malevolent forces, incompatible with human nature, with human animals, some of them closer to human mortals that know you all too well, then you're in trouble. That's why Aleister Crowley, in his Magic Without Tears, mentioned all the little black sorcerers and black magicians that have not crossed the abyss. That they may do the intrigues and middleman business as long as things do not happen. Because as soon as they realize that their little mortal soulets, those dark magicians, and they are attacked and assaulted and offended by all their creations, they either commit suicide or they collapse. And they revert to religion, whatever. They are abandoned in the works, they are abandoning their field of action. But if you are successful in any of your steps on your occult path towards liberation, be sure that there will be opposition. And not an opposition in the mortal sense, the opposition in metaphysical sense. The darkness will invade you, it will. And it is up to you to design apotropaic rites with the gods and goddesses. It is up to you how you handle it. It is up to you how you will reshape this darkness within yourself to turn it into a black diamond. Because otherwise, if you break, if your leg happens to slip, you either end up destitute, you either end up in the streets, or you will call it a crime and end up in prison, or you'll go insane, you'll end up in a psychiatric institution. You think people will understand you? Regular people in the streets, they won't. You think law, justice, the court, the judge will understand you, the prosecutor, they won't. You can say the devil made me do it. Haha, you'll end up in prison for life. Now, I'm not justifying every such atrocity, because people have their minds and they can think. They can use their willpower to resist certain things with their humaneness, with the virtutes, virunus, the completed men. But in some cases, and they're not that rare, this is prompted by the more malicious and malevolent side of affairs. To get that gook out of the picture, to eliminate him, or to use some mortal animal, human, to attack and destroy or murder a target. In other words, a person who has some capacities, psionic, magical, who may do some good stuff in his life, and they like to eliminate such people. You know, the fixer getting fixed. You want to fix something, fix yourself first. Because if you shine too much, that pisses off plenty of things. Now I move between the crossroads of hecatic liminal spaces. Back then, my soul was taken to the Black Tower. I've done the confession. I have the license to perform black magic, which I don't for most of the time. My mind and spirit is fixed towards the stars and the more divine aspects of this. I respect both the dark side, the darkness, the obscure side, and the ignorant side of affairs, although I have no tolerance for some idiots. But you need to know how to defend yourself. First, how to defend your minds. Then, how to develop certain cunning to outsmart. And you will be on a minefield. You will fall into the mines. You will step on the mines. You will explode on the mines. But at least you know how to move about to avoid most of the traps and trouble that you can get yourself. Self-preservation for the purpose of work and action. And then perhaps you will develop some mental attack defensive skills in magical combat. Perhaps after years of such defensive victory, you will win some respect from hells. Perhaps. But if you do, keep your head low and respect that. Because violent combustible forces, in as much as they may be wise, they may be also aggressive and bluntly hating the human race. And the human race is very young. Take it into account. So and so. Thank you.